The final game of quarterfinals is upon us. Game 5 of this best of 5 between Rogue Warriors and Bilibili Gaming. Amazing J & Co. on the verge of a reverse sweep against former teammate Flawless in the Rogue Warriors. Can they do it, Rusty? Can they upset here and advance to the semis in Hangzhou?
Momentum is completely with BLG coming into this final game as well. The expectations are here and the stage is definitely set for the continuation of BLG to get the 3-2 reverse sweep. But Rogue Warriors, you may not have seen it, but during the break they came out and they were all smiles.
Something that is
very surprising to say after losing 2 back-to-back games.
Being on the verge of a reverse sweep, being an emotional team, and then coming onto stage with confidence. Perhaps they've got something that they just haven't shown us just yet, or maybe they think they've finally figured out BLG's strategy. Either way, they're going to have to show it to us here. They don't get any more chances. This is 11 weeks of progress, culminating in one single game.
And there is one thing that always comes to mind through most of this best-of-5 series that needs to be raised in the 5th and final game, and that is Doinby and his champion selection. It was raised on the analyst desk, and I do have to reiterate that fact because we already got the Sejuani, we remedied the jungle role. Now it's the mid lane. I don't think you need to be the Galio when you can be something like the Cassiopeia. If your AD carry's going Jhin, go Cassiopeia. Pick a scaling control mage, or if that doesn't fit the bill, pick something that controls the middle lane and please help your jungler Rogue Warriors, or BLG are just going to walk over you.
Well, now we've entered into picks and bans for the final time. We'll see what that pick for Doinby is going to be, as BLG stick with the same bans that have worked for them in the past. Trundle, Kai'Sa, Olaf, they've been running it 1-2 games in a row, those 2 games that they've won. Rek'Sai banned away from Chieftain here, along with that standard Gangplank and Camille. No surprise, though, Amazing Jay. Bottoms up, he says, as he picks himself up, Ornn.
Goes for the back-to-back now. On the opposite side, the Varus, the Tahm Kench, still a very strong duo if you wanted to see that one come through. But note that the Xayah Rakan is still available, so it'd be very risky to commit to just Varus, Tahm Kench. And you can see Rogue Warriors have already changed things up here.
Yeah, it's Braum priority from Killua in the bottom lane. He's not going to be able to save SMLZ this time if he ends up getting overextended. It's all up to SMLZ's positioning to keep himself safe. And Chieftain, he immediately sees that. No Tahm Kench? Oh, get me that Skarner.
Yeah, no reason not to be the Skarner this time around. You could go to Sejuani for ranged engage, but Ornn already fits that bill. So a bit of pick, a bit of early control. Even with that Skarner, you could afford the Zoe once again. Get that for Mole, but Swain exists. Remember, a super strong meta champion right now that Mole has just shown his hand on. Shows that he can actually play it to a super high level and got the MVP in game number 4. So I wouldn't be shocked to see them hold their mid lane pick for a little bit longer and perhaps go for an AD carry like the Xayah.
Timer is now running down. BLG, they see the confident first 2 picks of that bottom lane. Caitlyn is actually locked in for Jin Zhao to match that Varus Braum. So perhaps a bit of a quick pivot from BLG to keep their bottom lane safe.
And I'm super happy if they lock that in. They've actually prioritized the top lane. It can flex towards mid lane, definitely could. But going for an early top laner, having the tank battle and acknowledging that Sion will be banned if we don't pick it right now, and so they meet in the middle ground. This is recognizing what was going poorly for them in the last game, and that was Mouse going poorly for them in the last game. Very hard to make a mistake as Sion.
I believe that Sion was even hovered by Rogue Warriors before the Gnar was taken instead. There's the Swain ban away from Mole. Is it going to be a double mid lane ban, perhaps, leaving that support pool completely open? Or is it just the priority ban away from Rogue Warriors? We'll see as they get to the next pick, as BLG will get the chance to start pairing away Doinby and Flawless's pool. So far, it looks like it is going to be Flawless who receives that 4th ban.
And I would still like a Morgana to be removed from this game. Not so much that Road is an outstanding Morgana player, the bindings were connecting, but more so the Braum matchup. Yeah. You know, it's very easy to negate the stuns. It's so intuitive to prevent Braum from existing in that laning phase. It hurts the Sion as well. And getting rid of the Morgana opens up options in the middle lane as well for control mages, but they choose not to.
Yeah.
Instead, they go Rakan.
It is Rakan, taken away from Road. Perhaps a bit more afraid of BLG just doing that dogpile thing that they did in Game 4. 5 people show up, and 4 of them have long and very powerful engage. Jarvan is the final ban away from Flawless. Sejuani is still open, and he's got plenty of other picks that he can fall back towards.
He's got to be psyched
sorry. 4 jungle bans, 5 if you include the Rek'Sai, 6 if you include Camille.
Yeah, he's got to be psyched out. But like Sejuani is just the best option for them in pretty much every scenario here. They're missing damage. That's the one thing that they're missing right now. And this is where you would say, you know, the Gangplank's removed, the Camille is removed from the top lane. Unless you're going to play Fiora, and that's not really a mouse thing, that Sion is going to go top lane.
Yeah.
And that they should be picking a hyper carry or a scaling damage source in the middle lane. Something that has mid-range would be nice to have. And at this stage, the one thing that seems to be missing to me from BLG's bans is actually the Rise.
Yeah.
I think that's where he may look.
That's wide open for Doinby. He's going to get counterpick with that final red side pickup into Mole's Zoe. And something that might be able to match the wave clear of that Zoe just a little bit more as Road returns towards his very well-known Thresh. We've seen this exact style composition from BLG against Jingdong just 2 days ago. It was the Skarner-Thresh combination, but Rise locked in for Doinby as the final pickup. Rusty, we've got our compositions.
We have a very strong team composition for both respective teams as well. Mole gets the Zoe. Chieftain has one of the champions on his coin of champions that are there for him. Amazing J on the Ornn, Jin Jiao on the Caitlyn, and Road on his Thresh as well. That is such a scary individual draft from BLG for their comfort champions, for the champions they excel at the most. But it even works as the composition. The siege that is there for them is incredible. They've got the pick. They are set to succeed coming into this game. But they're staring down the barrel of a million Rogue Warriors tanks with a very signature style composition of their own. It's not the Tahm Kench Dom, but I can tell you that Kahlua is one of the best Brahms that we have seen in the LPL this split. And he is very prepared to carry in this.
We'll absolutely keep an eye on his performance. Of course, he'll be next to SMLZ, the sniper of the LPL, to try and line up that final shot. All it takes is one win from Rogue Warriors to lock it out. They've dropped their chance in the last 2 games, and BLG have picked up their own momentum, bringing this to the Game 5, the final decider. Doinby, one of the most experienced mid laners in the league, taking on the rookie of Mole, who has outpaced him in these past 2 matches. Will Rogue Warriors recover? Are those smiles genuine, or are they masking the fear that this newcomer BLG roster could send them out of playoffs?
The ball is definitely in the Rogue Warriors' court for the 5th game because momentum is against them and they are against the wall. So if they want to come back into this, they need to start strong. They need to work together as a team. They need to get the ball rolling. Otherwise, they are at risk of being reverse swept when they were at the verge of a clean sweep.
And as we load onto the Rift, Rusty, the fans are going to have to be as loud as ever. Bilibili Gaming looking to reclaim playoff glory, where Rogue Warriors in their first split in the LPL are chasing down that semifinals berth in Hangzhou. Fans still cheering and representing as best they can. Coming into this Game 5, the final decider. The past 4 hours have built up to this one moment. The past 11 weeks have built up to this one deciding game. 10 players enter and 5 players leave.
Yeah, and then one team gets to continue through the LPL split, also locking themselves in Rift Rivals berth, being one of the top 4 teams in the region. The loser is eliminated from the LPL for Spring 2018, only to be sitting there and watching their opposing team play through the rest of the split. Now, on the opposite sides of the jungle, once again, Flawless and Chieftain will be clearing from top to bottom.
Yeah.
And every single time we have seen Chieftain come out ahead. We have to see something different from Rogue Warriors. We have to see Doinby help out Flawless. And if not Doinby, then Mouse. Someone has to collapse and contribute towards the jungle role if Chieftain continues to bully him out.
We do see Flawless trying to go for the quick clear. Doinby on that Rise should have a little bit of an easier time clearing out that mid lane with that Essence Flux. Sorry, I believe that's it.
That'll do.
Yeah. The Spell Flux.
That's the one.
Bouncing it off of minions, that's the one.
Yes, no dematerializer for exactly that, which is very unusual from any Rise, pretty much at all. Zoe, of course, having that means that she should actually have a decent amount of control when it comes to that cannon wave. The first cannon is when you get to activate it for the first time. So that does actually give an inside track to Mole if they choose to utilize that. Now, past that, of course, when you look at the team composition of BLG, not only is it a Zoe in the middle lane, but they've got the Skarner Thresh. They've got that ability to pick someone down and follow it up with the rest of it. So it's a very dangerous composition when they get to mid-game, when they get to generate those picks. And you do actually get to see Doinbe's rune page here. He's gone towards Presence of Mind in his secondary.
And of course, the tenacity a little bit later on, should he ever find himself getting caught.
Yeah, and he's committed. He hasn't gone towards the Mana Flow band. He's gone Nullifying Orb to have some extra resistances or, you know, preventative against the burst.
Which I suppose makes sense when you look at the composition from BLG.
Yeah, it's not strictly bad. I feel like he's pushed himself towards the Precision Tree for Presence of Mind to compensate for a lack of Mana Flow band because he is Ryze, a tier stacking champion.
Exactly.
That smashes spells out constantly. There's no one there, by the way.
Just playing the mind games.
But they don't know that.
And you have to respect that Dark Passage as long as it's still out there, because somebody could show up.
Road is just such a fun player to watch play League of Legends sometimes. He's a bard player, so he's very creative with the things that he does often.
Meanwhile, recall completed from Flawless. He did prioritize early scuttle control before double buff, so he already has a lot of early vision on this bottom side of the map. Even Doinbe's pulling down there.
Yeah, earlier movements towards the... Trying to track, perhaps, where Chieftain is, but he's also looking to place earlier vision. You can see that control ward was just placed by him. So all of this extra effort, it does feel like they've gone backstage after the Game 4 defeat, and they've said, this is what we're going to do to try and track Chieftain. Do not give him a lead. And at the very least, we want to hit 6 at the same time.
And look at that. Amazing Jay. He is on the pulse of Rogue Warriors' strategy. An early ward on top of the Krugs will see Flawless take the camp. But again, Scryer's Bloom should see this as
Mole
well.
is just with Chieftain. At any moment, the Chieftain goes into the jungle. You best believe that the Zoe is following him around. Ryze has no control of the wave. He's not able to because he does not have the dematerializer. So they're looking to scale just that little bit more here, Rogue Warriors. There's only 2 charges left, to be fair, from Zoe, but once she hits level 5 or level 7 even, she gets better at clearing minion waves, and then there just is no answer for the Ryze besides stepping up and trying to hit her.
Perhaps it is Doinbe and Rogue Warriors opting to play that later style, not playing for this laning phase. And we've seen them try to make that choice in Game 3 and Game 4. It didn't work out for them. This time it is a much more measured approach in those rune choices, at least from Doinbe so far.
Yeah, I don't think that's the pure goal from them, but it's something they could be always looking towards.
Yeah.
On the opposite side, having all that pick there. Amazing J is a big part of the team fighting, so they'll have to be grouped and use the Horn to actually start team fights off from a decent amount of range. And for Rogue Warriors, combating this, if they go late game, Skarner does tend to drop off, but that's where Amazing J starts to be super impactful with the ultimates. It's about hitting level 6, using those level 6 power spikes. Flawless. He can work with Doinbe, especially together, to get them off. But right now, he's in.
That's the slow. Road is the target. Hook will actually weave between them, but that will be flash used by one. Actually, Killua used his also used his flash.
Yeah, he was trying to engage. If the Q connected, they'd probably find themselves the kills. Note, of course, that it's Braum and Sejuani as a duo, so the 4-stack passives between both of them. If one hits, they usually get the second one off for free. But because the Q misses even after the flash, they will be able to just walk away pretty much unimpeded from their farm down in the bottom lane 2v2. But tell me this doesn't already look like a better version of Flawless from the last couple of games. He's definitely showing up in this game number 5 to play.
And again, this is Flawless's first time in playoffs in the LPL, so perhaps those nerves could have been getting the better of him earlier in the series. That hubris bringing low even the mightiest of fighters. But now he's playing for his team, he's playing across the map, and still just holding his own, maintaining vision for his vital, vital bottom lane of SMLs again, Killua.
Now we move towards the other side of the map, however, with blue buffs and red buffs being very close to spawning. So there's no real opportunities down in the bottom lane to get trades. It means the 2v2 should be free as they please. But usually, is what I mean. In this instance, they've gone for it.
Doinbe is trying to get in there. Recall canceled. They managed to immediately cleanse out of it. Jin Zhao is the target, but they don't have enough damage to dive this turret.
That was very clever from Rogue Warriors. We mentioned the red buff spawning. Perhaps it's a place they could have gone. They innovate. They try something different. They go bottom lane with the Ryze ultimate. But because it doesn't work, yes, Summoner spells were burnt, but because they don't get kills, Chieftain's in. He's in the enemy jungle. Mid lane's pushed in. Mole now gets a slight CS lead and gets control of mid lane, which unlocks him to be moving around the rift.
Ooh, Sleepy Trouble Bubble. Catches Flawless. Paddle Star will not be followed up with a portal jump. And Jin Zhao is able to defend the tier 1. Red buff is invaded, and BLG are the ones who actually come out ahead at the end of this.
Yeah, you're starting to see that ebb and flow, however, of Rogue Warriors making active decisions this time. The fact that they're making the decisions is what separates this game from the last two. Ultimately, they're still in a comfortable spot. There's no sizable CS advantages anywhere besides the bottom lane, you would say, and the jungle role, respectively. And that's from the pressure of Rogue Warriors giving a lead to SMLZ, which is who they want to have a lead on.
Yeah.
And then Chieftain being able to play smartly as a countermeasure to the aggression from Flawless.
Rogue Warriors again, as ever, investing into that bottom lane. Need to be able to make something happen with it, though, and keep SMLZ safe without a Tom Kench against that. I don't even know how to describe that composition. So much crowd control. If SMLZ is ever out of position, he goes down.
When same thing
It's gonna be
applies
tough.
for the other side, right? A Sejuani, a Sion, and a Ryze, even Varus and Braum. Like,
I guess that's fair.
there's crowd control everywhere on each respective team, so no one can afford to be caught out of position. It also means that the snowballing is actually quite severe. If anyone gets an advantage, they're able to utilize all the CC and the tanks that they've got there to snowball that further.
And perhaps that's why we see Rogue Warriors trying to take the initiative in this game, looking to start the avalanche on their side of the rift instead of BLG's. Blue buff passed over to Doinby as he returns back into the mid lane.
Walks it out. No one actually recalled between the bottom laners. The AD carries will have a lot of money to spend.
Oh, yeah.
So right now, this is usually that point in the game where no one wants to gank the bottom lane because their AD carry is weak. But it also means that if you can gank it, the enemy AD carry is very weak as well. So surviving is difficult. As Doinby,
He's caught mid-rotation there, holding onto the flash. That was Impale, but he was rooted in place for the duration. Flashes the wrong direction, eats the knockup. Dragon has been started. He's able to shield himself up. Meanwhile, that's first blood to SMLZ. Doinby kiting it around the likes of Amazing J. He gets the rune prison. Flawless trying to catch up. It seems that they caught Jin Zhao and Road in rotation to find that first blood, and they will turn onto the Dragon as a result.
an awkward flash from Doinby doesn't seem to matter too much in the end. The Drake is now the target they look towards, and the reason that it looks good is because SMLZ and Kahlua find themselves the kill onto Road. And just like that, Rogue Warriors, they do get their avenue into this game. They get their entry, they get the kills, and they start a snowball.
First blood to SMLZ. Here it is. Flawless just in the brush.
Yeah, Flawless was tracking. He was already moving towards the bottom lane. Remember, during this time, they were trying to kill Doinby. They didn't have enough damage to lock that one down. Interesting part about what happened to the Ryze during that trade is that he actually got the rune prison off as he was ulted by the Skarner.
Yeah.
So no one moved. They were both just stunned in place.
And that was after already marking him for the extended duration. So good play from Doinby to keep himself alive. Look at that, Merc Treads, and now the catalyst for even more sustain and health.
Yeah, once again, rushing Merc Treads in every single game so far of this series. His priority on surviving and never getting ganked is definitely noticed.
And it shows. Chieftain and Mole, the new duo for BLG, have largely been operating around each other as a result of their, I guess, history playing together.
Yeah,
They've
you gotta
certainly
remember,
found the synergy here.
BLG have been actively counterplaying that he has the Merc Treads.
Yes.
Why would you go towards him when you can just go towards Flawless in the jungle? You have the 2v2 advantage because Doinby's Merc Treads don't clear waves quickly. So you're able to push, you're able to roam. But in this last game, I mean, Doinby's been free to move constantly.
Rift Herald again taken very early by BLG, and though Doinby and Flawless will get the invade for the Raptor Camp and the Crystal Spire, we'll have to see if anything comes of this, because Realm Warp is back up for Doinby. If he were to try and head bottom, Flawless has got the Glacial Storm again. Gwinsu's finished off for SMLZ, but he's taken some hits here.
Just constant from Flawless, just annoyingly around the bottom lane all of the time. It's a Thresh and a Caitlyn who, they can save the Caitlyn with the Lantern, but the turret isn't exactly safe then, regardless. They've got the Sejuani to dive, they've got the Braum to dive as well, and Varus, even being able to engage as the AD carry, makes things so difficult to navigate for BLG. Look at that, they push away from the turret.
Ooh, Killua You got to be careful there. That's Realm Warp. They're under the turret. 3 goes in. SMLZ is actually in there too. He's forced to flash away. He's taking shots from Jin Zhao as they turn onto Chieftain. Road again goes low, but they're able to walk it down. The turning ignite as 2 kills are picked up. Killua tanks 1, dashes away, and barely survives, but Mole is there to head them off. He's over the wall. Portal jump to go in. He's doing damage, but it's not enough. The auto from Jin Zhao gets 1. Doinby tries to follow it up with another. Flawless is tanking this time, and it's going to be 4 kills to Rogue Warriors.
That was such a delicate fight to navigate. There's no way Rogue Warriors should have come out of that with most of their members alive. Look at the blinking health bars. The fact that they were able to do that, the execution from them, it was a delicate game that they just played. It was a difficult dance to play.
Classic faith in the mechanics. 50-50 we can outplay, and they get it.
Exactly. The fact that they did that. Just a typical Rogue Warriors day in the office for them. Killua, no minions, tanks the turret. SMLZ tanks the turret 2 times, and they're going on top of a Thresh box and Flay onto all of them. Jin Zhao's free hitting through all of this, but Doinby does enough damage. SMLZ's hitting most of the time as well. From this point, you're actually looking at Mole. He needs to make something happen here. He blast plants over and then just goes forwards trying to pick off SMLZ, but he doesn't. And it's so close to getting it, it forces Jin Zhao to step up, and then the tanks get their cooldowns reset, so they're able to go in once again.
This whole series has been a game of inches and small advantages. This time it's Rogue Warriors who open up with the advantages themselves. Rift Herald being utilized in mid lane. SMLZ is bottom, trying to get that first brick, but the wave crashes in. Doinby is able to clear out most of it.
Oh, what have you done?
Now he's trying to group up. Even Mouse is there. That's the full charge. And the Ornhorn. Killua's the target. It's not the turret they want, it's the kills. Mouse joins in, but still, they've lost 1. The turret is still standing. SMLZ is almost there. Mole forced to back away. Finally, the turret goes down, but SMLZ joins the fight. Trouble Bubble catches him after he gets 1 kill, so he can't follow up with another. Finally, AJ will go down. But Rogue Warriors, they trade 1 for 2, though BLG get the turret and the hook goes wide. Glacial Storm. If you try and step up, you're going to be punished. Mole, ooh, boy, Mouse swings him down. Game over, back to the fountain.
Mouse is finally showing up in this set. That kill there sets them up to succeed so well. The counterplay is there from Rogue Warriors. They're finally here. And BLG are still pushing forwards. It's a goal lead stretching for Rogue Warriors, but BLG are playing as well. This is finally the first game where I can definitively say they're both here to play. And Rogue Warriors just the ones coming out. And it starts with, like, Doinby steps on a sleepy trouble bubble. Killua sacrifices himself for the king in the middle lane. And there is no SMLZ here, so he arrives late. The turret's gone. It looks good for BLG. And another bubble hits SMLZ, but the kill was already there. Mouse is popping off in this fight too. Able to just net them the kills, the ultimate to get himself into the fight. Flawless. Of course, he has the ultimate. Everyone dodges the Thresh hook. Usually the hottest hands in the East is that Thresh. Cannot hit a target.
Not this confidence. Time. Mouse over the wall finds that final kill. Now it's 9 kills to 2, 3,000 gold advantage for Rogue Warriors, but 1 turret to 1. And while this might not be a game of chess, both kings of the board are looking rather confident in this game. Doinby and SMLZ stepping up huge, the king and queen of Rogue Warriors, if you will.
And it is amazing to note the differences with Rogue Warriors being ahead in this game compared to the last 2 being behind, and the difference in the mid and jungle scoreline. 0-2 respectively for Mole and Chieftain, but far more superior in this 5th game is Flawless and Doinby. And now Amazing J needs to be careful.
Uses his flash, but will be chased down by Mouse. Doinby catches up. It's some good damage, but there's no way you're getting out of this one, Amazing J. Go forward something that can keep you alive a little bit longer in the base this time around.
Amazing J's not having an amazing day in the bottom lane. Fortunately for him, now joins his brethren as a 0-2 scoreline. Rogue Warriors are able to continue to... Don't give me that look. I've been brewing on that one for 3 games.
Yeah, but they were winning.
I said in the bottom lane.
Yeah. Well, this time he's not. Finally goes back to the Ornn in this game 5, but with a banner pushing onto that tier 2, Rogue Warriors 10 kills to 2, and Baron is going to be up in 3 minutes. Redemption even being utilized. Tragically, that doesn't do anything about the cannon minion.
They've just done well in their laning phase. There was a lot less pressure from BLG, and that's something that you expect to see from them when you want to match Rogue Warriors. They're an aggressive team that make risky choices, and you can often beat them through those choices by having smarter ones of your own, and that's unfortunately missing.
Yeah, this time those risky choices are paying off. Doinby pushing in the mid lane. He's finished off his Seraph's Embrace, sitting on those 10 stacks of that Dark Seal. 2 items finished off for SMLZ, the Abyssal Mask, and the Banner of Command for Mouse to only the Abyssal Mask of Amazing J. It's just, when is it too much? When is it going to be broken apart? Road is going to cleanse and back away from the Glacial Storm.
Chieftain was smartly here, so they had to disengage Rogue Warriors. They did not want to overreach their bounds if there was a third member nearby. But Chieftain in the right place at the right time, able to ensure Road stays alive. Also the cleanse, of course, there for the Thresh. Unsealed Spellbook does wonders for him. But now the cavalry's arriving. Doinby through the river. Mouse being completely unseen through the top lane. They cannot defend this turret.
They spot Doinby out. They don't quite see Mouse just yet, but still BLG smell that something is up and they back away. The tier 1 is given up and BLG are just hemorrhaging objectives. 2 turrets in the bottom lane, 1 turret in that top lane. It's all the mid lane tier 1 standing for BLG now.
You have to look at the reasons why that turret's able to fall at all. From pretty much full health to killed in one rotation, in one wave of minions. It's because there is no control of the mid lane right now. Zoe has not been able to snowball. And often you'll say if a Zoe gets ahead, she can't be stopped. But if a Zoe falls behind, she can't stop anything. It's the exact same problem that you'll have in the opposite way. And against a 4-0-5 Rise, one of the hardest things to do in League of Legends, in the LPL, is to play against Doinby when he's snowballed, because he just builds tank. Is the kind of player that will have a Righteous Glory instead of completing that into a Rod of Ages or an Abyssal Mask. Just loves himself some tanky stats, and when he starts snowballing, as tanks are wont to do, there's nearly no counterplay there.
It's just the pure denial play. Ooh, bit of a small mistake there, just wastes some of BLG's time. It's a fight, though, as Road tries to step up for vision and pays for it with his life. His AD carry was there with him, but there was no chance that he could have gotten out of there alive.
And such is the Road way of life, of course. Caught placing vision. They'll get the Drake at the exact same time. Unfortunately for them, it's a Cloud Drake, but fortunately for them, there's now 3 consecutively, so they are moving very quickly. Sonic around the Rift. You have to look at what's next for them, and with a Baron in 40 seconds, Rogue Warriors should be setting up their vision control around that area. That objective should be theirs to control, not necessarily take, but control.
They're already setting up wards all around the area. There is one just behind the red buff of Rogue Warriors that I'm sure Flawless is on his way to clear over now, and that will make that side of the map completely dark. Plus, Mouse is still sitting on that Banner of Command. So like you said, Rusty, it's only a matter of time. And BLG, do they have an avenue back into this game? They've got a Caitlyn if they can get it to 6 items, but that seems a bit risky.
That is a place you actually have to look towards, like you mentioned, the Banner of Command being available. Red buff's first, of course, for Rogue Warriors, but if they get the Baron, a Banner of Command is pretty much unstoppable in the tank matchup. There's already a lead for Mouse in the 1v1. So you put a Banner in that lane with a Baron buff, turrets are going to fall down. This is what Rogue Warriors did in game number 1 when they snowballed the lead to a victory very quickly. Is they had the Scion, they had the Banner of Command, and he was taking inhibs for free.
So then where do we look to BLG to get themselves back into this game? Just dragging it out, trying to go for 6 items?
They definitely need to continue to try and scale, but that is risky against the Rise, who is already starting to scale up. But yes, scaling is an option. You've currently got a 2-in-1 Caitlyn as well, and sieging against the Caitlyn is very difficult to navigate at times, because you can have the 5 traps placed down. Unfortunately, though, with all of the turrets still standing, particularly in the mid lane, even if they are able to stem the bleeding, it's very hard to stop those turrets from falling down. So let's get 3 items, try and get a pick with Zoe. Skarn is pretty much irrelevant from this point onwards, just about defending the Caitlyn. But if the Zoe can burst someone out, if Zoe can burst out Doinby or SMLZ, then their job is harder.
Ooh, Flash Glacial Storm. Suddenly that pick just became a lot harder to find. Like you said, Doinby's still unlocked in this mid lane. He's found Jin Zhao and chunks him down. That's the heal used Road with the Flash Flame, but a sidestep from Doinby.
Oh my god.
Even steps up again! The solo kill, 1v2. Here comes Mouse through the trap line, a double kill for Doinby.
Does not stop. He goes forwards and gets the kills. Now the ult straight towards the Baron.
SMLZ is already there. They even bring the minions, but it doesn't even matter.
This is what happens when the captain of the team steps up in a game 5. He gets not just 1 pick, but they find a second. Mouse there to reinforce him, and the Baron is theirs.
Amazing J tries to go for the knock-up, tries to go for the deny, but it will be secured. Baron to Rogue Warriors for the next 3 minutes, and they are relatively healthy. Looks like they're going to even use it before heading back to base to top themselves up.
They should be able to get themselves this turret for free. BLG not going to be there to answer, so an extra outer turret before they go back and spend all of their money. But Doinbi was really the one who earned most of the money, so he's already gone to base and teleported. Now they have got Banner of Command on cooldown, so they're not going to be able to use that straight away to get any further objectives with the Baron buff, but they are still strong enough that they're able to push forwards and threaten.
Yeah, the next wave coming out of base is a cannon wave for Rogue Warriors. That's a very long way away from Mouse on the other side of the map, though. As Mole, just with that Spell Thieves.
Gets me every time.
Yeah. Meanwhile, engage in the mid lane. Chieftain tries to get in and goes right back out. He is dead as Mouse, with the flank fight on the side, finds another kill onto Road. They chase it even further forward. Rogue Warriors at this point will not be stopped. They're not even waiting for the cannons.
No, Mole's lucky to even found a flash from someone else who used one. The Baron's here. They're pushing forwards. Inhib's most likely going to drop. It's about what else falls. Do BLG step too far and make a mistake and get caught?
Oh, they're looking for the kills. He catches him with the 90 caliber net in animation. The inhibitor goes down, and Rusty, BLG are falling apart in this game 5.
At the seams, Rogue Warriors have got momentum, and it's very hard to slow down this team train when it goes back the other way. And a Zoe behind, a Rise ahead, and tanks ahead with the Scion and the Sejuani. And we'll get to see, most importantly, what happens here, because Doinbi, just a casual sidestep of the Flay from Road, who flashes forwards. Very simple from him, honestly. And then the bounce, which is where he gets the kill. Road comes back with the Essence Flux on him and then steps next to his AD carry, so the bounce was there. And that's where the second kill comes through as well. Mouse able to reinforce his mid laner. Clean from Doinbi.
Absolutely. 50,000 gold, a 14,000 gold lead, 6-0-6 on Doinbi, 6-1-6 from SMLZ. Mole is forced to back away from Mouse even. Sleepy Trouble Bubble will deny him as Mole has to get one more cheeky auto attack to escape with that Dark Passage, but this map no longer belongs to BLG. The only sanctuary that's safe for them is their high ground, is their base, and Baron's still up for 60 seconds.
The only thing that is safe for them, you're right, is inside their base, but there's already an inhibitor missing, and the Baron with the Ban of Command getting close to available once again. Even then, the 1-3-1 split push from Rogue Warriors is a possibility, but they're so far ahead that why not
Look at the gold
just
difference.
Group as 5.
4,400 gold advantage for Doinbi. Another 4,000 gold lead for SMLZ. That is massive. 2,000 gold for Mouse. He's got to finish Rabadon's death.
Oh, they're just going to desperation fight.
Yeah, that's Realm Orb from Doinbi into the mid lane. He's actually not there. They found the tank in the front. He's actually pulled in with the Dark Passage. Look at how deep Mouse is getting pulled. The shield in order to escape, but Doinbi has joined the fight. The damage source has arrived, and BLG backs against the wall. Their playoff lives against the wall. They're going to try and finish him off, but they just don't have enough damage. A triple kill. 3 members going down. Jinzhao back onto the fountain. He will be stunned and die as Mole kites it even further out. SMLZ going to get that final shot to add insult to injury, but Rusty, Rogue Warriors have done it. They have taken the series as they turn onto the Nexus. They're going to advance to the semifinals in Hangzhou. They are going to deal with EDG next week, and they have secured their ticket to Rift Rivals later this year.
And a turnaround in a game 5 as well after losing 2 back-to-back games. Rogue Warriors, they came out onto stage, they were smiling, and you could see the elation.
You can hear him.
The crowd even behind him. A lot of support again. They're happy, they're excited. And they've done it. They've gone from week 9 and week 10 where they look shaky. 4 back-to-back set defeats against teams that should be well below them in the standings. They come in 2-0 against BLG. They bounce back in a game 5. Mental resilience. That's admirable from them.
Flawless in his first LPL playoffs, takes his first series win to advance to the top 4, the final 4, along with Rogue Warriors in their first LPL showing. Big handshakes from Mouse and Amazing J. Again, friends, did he fall over there? Where did he go?
Where's he gone?
He's gone.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Where did he ended up getting lost. There was a Sleepy Trouble Bubble there.
Oh, yes.
And he just had to stop for a brief nap before making his way over. But a deep bow from Rogue Warriors as they take their first playoffs win. But that said, their journey is far from over.
But the recipe was simple in this set, Dom. They finally got to the conclusion at the 5th game draft phase, and it's something that You hate to see it go for 5 games before they get to that solution, but they were able to win game 1 and 2 and give themselves the buffer to get there in the end. They pick the Ryze in the middle lane, they help their jungler, they work with their jungler, and they actually display teamwork as a full team unit, but also as a 2v2 between Doinby and Flawless once again. The biggest strength that they had at the start of the split has finally crept back in this playoff game. That dynamic duo gave them the victory that they needed.
And finally, that will give us the first time that we have actual tape of Rogue Warriors recovering from a series deficit. They have shown they are not just a one-patch, one-meta, one-style team, that they can grow and that they can change. In a 25-minute win, they close out this series. Actually exactly matching the Game 3 game time at 25 minutes and 30 seconds, but
yeah,
it was a battle well fought.
There was a lot of quick victories in this best of 5 between each respective team when they got the wins. Game 2 was the only really long, drawn-out game, and that should have been something that BLG won far quicker.
Yes.
But they ultimately went down in, and that, you look at this set, that game is the one that comes to mind. That was the difference. Each team had 2 Barons, each team had an Elder Dragon, and no one could close for the victory. And then you just come all the way back around to this game number 5, and it was another one of the snowball victories that we see.
And the person who found that pick was Doinby finding Chieftain in the jungle. So again, just finding that veteran leadership from Rogue Warriors in the series. And of course, the rookies for BLG putting on a good performance overall, but ultimately costing them.
Yeah, what came back to mean the most in the end was the experienced members of the team. And you saw it from Doinby. He was elated to get the victory, and he played a major part in that.
He certainly did. That said, it's time for our analyst to break down that Rogue Warriors series win.
Thank you so much, Dom. And that was a Rogue Warriors playing on point in this fifth and final game. It wasn't a best of 3, it was best of 5. It went down to the wire. I mean, congratulations to Rogue Warriors. And that also puts them in for Rift Rivals contention now. They will be one of the 4 teams representing the LPL region. And I, for one, am just excited to see Doinby go to the international stage. I think the Western audience will have an absolute tear watching Doinby on stage.
That's the thing. Doinby has been so incredible in this region for so long. He's one of our career Koreans. You know, he formerly was a professional Korean streamer, came over to the LPL, and really made his statement in a competitive League of Legends.
Yes.
And that cry of victory that you saw from him, he is known for, you know, his end zone dances, his very flamboyant, over-the-top attitude. We call him Speed Car Racer. You watch his player cam, he's always, like, zipping around. And it's just about damn time the international audience got their taste of Doinby.
The best thing about this sport, no referees tossing flags. You can do what you want. You can even just run to the crowd. That's, yo, God bless you. You do what you want.
He would be the first guy that would crowd surf.
He
That's
absolutely
true.
would.
He would do it.
All right, let's get to this game, though, and see actually how it happened and how Rogue Warriors actually won this one. So we'll start in the champion select right here. And I just want to say, like, it felt like both teams just came onto the Rift and there were no, like, losses or strengths. It's like they came on equal to the Rift.
It was finally Raz and I turned and we said, may the best man win. Like, it felt like no one just drove themselves off a cliff when it came to this draft phase. I liked both ideas, and it just really came down to execution.
What was the most important one for me is that we talked about this in game 1. We needed to see double threat Doinby. We needed to see a Doinby that can actually take the game in his own hands and just drive it through mid-game priority, mid-jungle duo. They need to be able to stop Chieftain and Mole, and they were able to finally do that in this game.
And the thing is I know that Doinby has this reputation of being the secondary support. He played Morgana when he first entered the league on Chowga Reapers. He had Galio, he had Karma, he had Lulu, all this series. But if you go back to when he won 2017 Spring MVP, he was a hard carry type of player on JD Gaming. So we finally got to see Doinby and his versatility. He is not a one-trick pony. He's not just about playing the tanks, about playing the supports. He will grab the Ryze and the Cassiopeia, and he will destroy you.
Seems like he's on. Oh, at least it's SMLZ. I was hoping it was going to be a Doinby interview, but that's why we get to see more Doinby inside the game. So this is just a showcase of what he could do at the very beginning. That Rune Prison was so crucial, or he would have gotten killed, and it would have meant so much for BLG and being able to find an opening. Rune Prison comes in here too for the fight.
Yeah, this call scared me.
And the thing is Doinby is the guy making these calls. He's the loudest one. You can hear him from here. He's always yelling on the stage. It's not just him, you know, dancing around after the matches happen. It's him leading the charge during the match. So when you see Rogue Warriors start to really pop off, know that it's Doinby who is making these calls.
And it's great that you mentioned JD Doinby, just because it wasn't crazy, or at least it happened so often that he would get himself 40% damage percentage. And look at this. Just take a look at it. Because I thought it was unattainable for him to be able to get the kill on Jin Zhao. But no, the bounce comes through from Thresh to Jin Zhao, and he knew it was going to happen, so he flashed through.
Just insane plays coming out of Doinby right here, and you can see this is just classic Doinby. If you haven't seen Rogue Warriors before, if you haven't seen Doinby before, this is just Doinby in a nutshell.
And this has been a total home crowd advantage for Doinby and Rogue Warriors here. The crowd has been nuts for them, so he stands up, he acknowledges his fans, and he says, we're going all the way. They said it in the teaser, you will not be disappointed as a Rogue Warriors fan.
And if you bring this Rogue Warriors up against their next set going up against EDG, with a Doinby on point on Rise, Cassiopeia, just outright carries. Even get the Orianna in there, because I feel like that's a good early game pick to have like to the Rise matchups, for instance.
And the thing is we now have 4 teams left. We have Edward Gaming, Rogue Warriors as our first semifinal, and then we have Invictus Gaming versus Royal Never Give Up. Out of those 4 teams, 3 of them are from the Eastern Conference. The Eastern Conference reigns supreme. We said it in cross-conference, and we see it again in playoffs in a best-of-5 format. The Eastern Conference was absolutely stacked.
Yeah, it was definitely a true statement right there. Talking about Rogue Warriors, though, I know this has been the Doinby appreciation test so far, but talking about like the rest of the lineup, like just taking a look at this series as a whole, like what holistically went wrong in those 2 games that they remedied in that 5th game, and do you think that's going to go forwards now through the rest of playoffs into a team like EDG?
They gave Doinby the X factor. I think Rusty said it best. They actually followed him.
Yeah, a lot of it was the Doinby point. Also, I'd like to say Mouse going back to his tank pick so he can
not
really find
exactly.
He could really find comfort, because him flashing through, getting the pick onto Mole, he knew exactly what he could do and navigate these team fights when it's just a team fight focus for Mouse. So if we play it from front to back, Mouse is the major frontliner, flawless as a great or at least energetic team fighter, finding picks when he can, or just the front to back, Doinby and SMLZ. This is when, this is when the team of Rogue Warriors are at their strongest.
And that means the most exciting thing is that as you look at our 2 semifinalists, we effectively have the 1-3-1 heavy skirmish, like carry top laners in RNG versus Invictus Gaming, and then you have Ray versus Mouse. You know, these big 5v5 kind of lumbering monsters between Rogue Warriors and Edward Gaming. These 2 semifinalists are stylistically super suited for each other, which means our finals, either way it goes, are going to have very different stylistic matchups, and it's going to be the best of the best at those particular styles.
And Trusk, you already said it, you already talked about the matchups, but let's get some visuals to match as well and take a look at the bracket and how it's shaped up over the last couple of days here in our last 4 best of 5s. And you see in the semi-finals, Edward Gaming will now be taking on Rogue Warriors, who won today, and on the opposite side, it will be Royal Never Give Up against Invictus Gaming.
Now, it was a long trip, I would say trip, to get to this point. The fact that the round 1 was just a stomp in both cases, Royal Never Give Up and BLG. But getting to this point where Royal Never Give Up gets the longest trek to that finals, I guess it feels like a finals, but it's a semifinals between them and Invictus Gaming. That, to me, is the most important to watch, because people are ultimately looking to us that set and saying that's the true finals, the true team to be able to go to the finals. Should be able to win that one.
But the terrifying thing is now you have the X factor. I was like, BLG are my dark horse because I don't think Rogue Warriors can recover. Rogue Warriors recovered. We don't know if Clearlove's starting for Edward Gaming. If EDG managed to get into a final, their win rate on that final is about 75%. So even them just being there is super terrifying. And then how much farther is Invictus Gaming above the rest of the LPL? Is it truly head and shoulders?
Yeah, I do want to give a bit of time to BLG though, because we haven't really spoken about them on this desk, and that was a tight fought series, honestly. And like as you said, looking at them as a dark horse no longer as they've been knocked out of the contention right now. But what happened to BLG? You know, we saw a very different BLG come in today. Like it just didn't make any sense. Then he went back to what worked, and he looked so much better.
Look, Frost, her prediction probably would have been true if BLG were on that right track from game 1. That's just
I don't know what happened. I don't know if they didn't have their weenies. Like game 1 and 2, I have never seen that many unforced errors. There were Talia walls going backwards. There was Jin Zhao getting popped over the wall on his ultimate roads. Like, time to troll.
Chieftain flashing in place. So there were certain instances where, it felt like nerves were a major factor for them going into game 1. Major points of disagreement. They looked like they were physically impacted by that. If you saw Amazing J on the camera immediately after that game, it was massive. So it was great for them to be able to get to game 3 completely reset. But you never want to find yourself in a position to have to go for a reverse sweep. That's asking way too much of a team. So I think if you just reset the series, it might be much harder for Rogue Warriors to come out with a 3-2 victory. I think it goes to BLG, but that's what happens when you come up on the right foot.
Have to come up on the day, and a credit to Rogue Warriors and all their veterans. I will say this, though. The fact that BLG missed even the opportunity to play a third versus fourth means that they miss out massively on championship points. So if they actually want to make a run for Worlds, try to recreate that 2016 success, they have to hit so hard in Summer Split. They must finish above top 3, otherwise it's virtually impossible due to how consistent the LPL team, our top teams are about grabbing, first, second place.
Yeah, thankfully, summer points give you a lot more, and if you don't get that on the first go.
It's weighted towards Summer, but missing out here, I mean, it's a huge blow.
Pretty unfortunate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially for Amazing Jay, he was talking about these miracles, and now the miracle has to happen instead in Summer, and that's your last shot, to try and make it to World. So big deal for BLG right here, but we did see flashes in the pan and glimpses of brilliance out from the team, so we'll see if that rings true next split. For now, though, we are going to take a look at our next matches coming up. I mean, we've already seen what they are, but when is it? That's what we're going to take a look at the 21st of this month and the 22nd. That'll be next Saturday and Sunday. We'll have both our semi-finals happening. So that will be Invictus Gaming and Royal Never Give Up to kick us off.
And the thing is these are happening out of Hangzhou, so we are leaving the Shanghai Arena. Goodbye, Battle Arena on the top of the Super Brand Mall. From here on out, it'll be in Hangzhou, and then the third versus fourth match will be in Chongqing until our finals in Chengdu.
Yep, you got to go for the road trip on that one. So it's fun to see them getting out. I say Hangzhou is interesting because you only really get to meet LGD. Now it's going to be real tough competition going up against each other. No hard feelings, LGD.
I don't know why you turned to me, but I mean, sure.
You're suddenly LGD, so that's fair. But that's going to be really sick and a real good treat for the Hangzhou audience.
Any final thoughts for us before we end the show?
I just make direct eye contact with Paul.
I'm sorry, the voices in my head were talking to me at the same time, and I was looking at you, and we just got confused. Anything you want to say for us before we close?
I'm just super happy to see Rogue Warriors. The Revenge team coming through. They have one of the coolest narratives. All of these guys were veteran, established players outside of Klua on the support. Yeah. They all made the Revenge tour. It was a huge leap of faith, leaving these established organizations like Edward Gaming, like OMG, and then going towards a brand new org. So it wasn't just about the competition in the LPL. These guys have also been fighting off regret, because if they failed here, then they knew that they made a mistake leaving their established orgs.
And they got to make the grind because they have a lot to learn from the regular season, or at least how that ended off. So this was a really tough playoff set for them. Now going up against the EDG, they need to really start grinding either solo queue, scrims as well. They just need to communicate a little bit more as a team going to the next series. For me, I mean, the next one's apparently going to be Invictus Gaming versus RNG, so everybody has to watch that one. That is the must-watch series because that is so hype, being able to see Jackie Love go up against Uzi once again.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much every team in the semifinals is just going to be hyped to watch from here on out, no matter who wins in the semis. But that's going to do it for today here on the Death Zone. On behalf of myself, my analysts, everyone in the English broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next Saturday.